Yeah, okay, go ahead. Good afternoon, and welcome to this interview with Anzar Hasan. And he has been working for a very long time in the telecoms across the world in different countries. And right now he's working with a service provider in the US where he's looking specifically at security issues. And today, however, we're going to talk about security, but also about CRAN. And now CRAN, what are the implications of security in CRAN once you have a new environment? And this is quite interesting because all virtualization brings a lot of changes in the way not only you run network, but you also make sure that they are secure. So, Anzar, could you please give us a little bit of introduction of what is that you do in this respect?
Actually, because of my experience from access, transport, wireless, and security, the basic objective for my job is around CIA: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So if we keep these three words in mind, basically we will cover everything. It means that we are worried about the customer's privacy, we are worried about the network performance, we are worried about the network availability. That include, for example, denial of service, or for example, private issue, that how the customer are secure, their data are secure. So those type of things. So my job is basically evaluate and see whether people are doing the due diligence and due care. What do you mean by due diligence? Means that people are doing the right thing, and after doing the right thing, they need to do the right application of those right things. For example, somebody need to find out the problem, and first of all they need to find the problem, and after that they need to fix the problem. So that type of approach I do have, and basically that way I am helping my friends and people around me to keep everybody. They should not wake up in the middle of the night. It should be like proactive approach rather than reactive approach.
These are all very hot topics, and I'm sure there's a lot of work there to do. But let's try to understand how your role is going to be changed as we move, towards virtualization, and you have to do things different. So let's start with the CRAN, the Cloud Run approach. So there is a lot of interest into moving to a Cloud Run infrastructure where the base station is not co-located with the antenna. And there has been, so far, most of the interest has been in Asia. How does it look to you in the US? What are the prospects?
I know, like in 2010, some service provider in Asia do the CRAN thing and implementation. And in US, the big service provider, they have the big footprint available. So at the moment, they may not think on the cloud approach, but it is somewhere in their to-do list. They need to come up this strategy, because ultimately things are going to virtualization, and ultimately down the road we will do this thing. Right now things are changing. If you remember, from 1G to 2G, 3G, 4G, voice over LTE, from SS7 to diameter, and things are changing. So answer for your question, I don't feel from my perspective that it is something very much urgent, but it is something that service provider is thinking along those lines, because some providers have the cloud services they own. Mm-hmm. So it is very, very easy for them. They already have the infrastructure, they already have the resources. All they need to come up with a strategy to use the new way of doing the transmission of the information.
Yeah, and the virtual base station is part of the NFV projects. So it's all part, even though right now it seems like it's the core network people that are driving the change more. So you think it's going to be core first and then move to the RAN?
Yeah, so far the mindset is core first and then RAN second. But ultimately, maybe the time will come when people will think from the RAN side first and core side back. So, but at the moment, the mindset is that we go from core to RAN approach. But I met some professional people, and they come up with the idea that now coming from core, from RAN perspective to the core.
Yeah, absolutely. And traditionally, in mobile operators, there have been the core people and the RAN people. So, and they each have their own tasks. And with virtualization, the boundaries are going to be blurred.
Yeah.
Is that, do you see that to be a challenge, and how do mobile operators going to deal with that?
Yeah, it's a challenge. First of all, it's a mindset, it's a paradigm shift, it's an approach shift, because the telecom provider think more like more possessive, and core is give them the more possessiveness rather than the RAN environment. But there is a challenge, and there will be, I believe it's all, there are several factors, 3GPP, industry, service provider, everybody have their stake on it. It's not a only one factor that can lead the whole thing. It's like a collaborative approach. And for the next level, I believe it is not only the manufacturers leading, like 10 years back or 20 years back, manufacturer was guiding. Mm-hmm. Then vendors, like service provider, were controlling. Right now, service provider is controlled by the demand. Mm-hmm. Money is not the issue. The issue is that what is demand. The young generation, baby boomers, are coming every day, 10,000 people. Young people are coming in the market, and they are so much, using the multimedia type thing. Mm-hmm. So the time will come that we are compelled. We means service provider, we means regulatory agency, we means manufacturer, mm-hmm. we means vendor. Everybody need to work together. Don't collide, force unite them. That is the theme, mm-hmm. next 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, when you think about CRAN, there is like the China Mobile approach, where you have macro stations in a cloud environment. But also, there is a potential for having CRAN as a sort of the evolution of DAS system. So what today is a DAS will evolve to have more of a CRAN type of architecture. You think it's going to be important in the U.S.?
Yeah, I think it may important, but it depend on the market. In some market, the trend will be from DAS to CRAN. Some market there will be brand new greenfield. Mm-hmm. So this depend on the different scenarios. So we cannot do one cut short that okay, it will be the next move. Everybody will come up with a return on investment, mm-hmm. and they will do whatever the beneficial for them and whatever the way that they need to do. So, but there is one option from DAS mm-hmm. to CRAN. One option. There is another option that we focus on femtocell and microcell and those things for some area. Mm-hmm. For example, North Dakota, South Dakota, and those remote places. So this all depends different market, different demographic conditions.
Yeah. But also you can have in sort of outdoor or indoor locations, you can have a type of small cell architecture where the small cell, it's also virtualized. So you have, instead of having the self-contained small cell, you can have just the antenna and then the baseband for the small cell at a remote location. So it's a cloud RAN for small cells. Is that also something you're considering?
Yeah, I think this is a demand. We should not consider, basically, time will come, we need to do the same, because the 80% of data users is from indoor. Mm-hmm. And we need to come up with some strategy, or service provider or vendor, they need to come up with some strategy to meet 80% of demand of the data traffic. And for that, we need to come up with a small cell, and a small cell we can have with a femtocell, microcell, or we have the approach like engineers here, and remotely we have some virtual place there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very interesting. So now let's talk about security. And how having a virtualized RAN going to impact security?
Yes, first of all, security, we cannot secure 100% anything. Mm-hmm. This is for sure. But right now, the cloud services are available in the market, and there was some regulatory requirements for the service provider. They need to comply with those service requirements. For example, FedRAMP, Federal Risk Management, they have the guideline, NIST. Mm-hmm. They have the guideline for cloud. So mm-hmm. I think 3GPP or some other regulatory or some standard bodies, and some people like industry experts, they will come up and they will come up with some security baseline for RAN. At the moment, it is not there. Even whatever LTE, we don't have very much security thing. like for example, backhaul connectivity. It is a service provider job to do something for secure their network.
Right.
So, but for your question, RAN security, CRAN security, it's still in infancy stage, and I believe IEEE and other, academia, the people are doing research, and sooner or later they will come up with some standard guideline that what we have to do, because virtualization itself is risk. So, and right now we need to worry that it is not only the technical problem, it is a problem of mindset. It is a problem of a group who can do even for denial of service. So, answer for your question, I believe there is more vigilance is required, more data analytics involved, more availability scanning of the train analysis should be there. So I think when we talk about CRAN, I think there must be some mechanism from service provider perspective or from vendor perspective that we must be very much proactive to see the traffic trend, so we will know what's going on, and that will be beneficial for the system performance, and that will be beneficial for our optimization, and that will be beneficial for our future growth. So data analytics is a big thing, is coming. Security, hardening of the system is more thing, and also the surveillance system, the monitoring is also one of the aspects that we need to think along those lines.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be an important issue, because especially when everything is going to be virtualized, you need to understand if the quality of experience is not what you expect, what is the problem? Is it a security issue, or because, well, security, but also could be a non-malicious activity that it still has a similar impact.
Yeah.
Necessity might bring the network down or might get.
Yeah, so for that we need to be very much agile in our approach for analytics. We need to see how the trend, how the system is performing. So 10 years back it was not a big deal, but right now the way things are going, it is a big deal, and service quality, it is a very important thing, and the people are looking for perfection. They are not at the minimum baseline. You see, the people mindset is very, 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 very high. Like I was 20 years back, all I need the telephone and ISDN. In Europe, for example, integrated service digital network, I was happy. But now I want everything, real time, no delay, nothing, and
Yeah. Well, I guess if you see a video, any small glitch, it's visible. If you're downloading a big file, you might not know, or you will not know.
Yeah.
No matter what. Now, let me ask you one thing though, because it's also true that if you have a virtualized LAN or a RAN, or if the baseband is at a separate location, it might be easier to physically secure, because you lock it up. If you have a lamppost with a small cell, well, from a security point of view, isn't that a little bit of a problem?
Yeah, I mean, for land pole or in the building, it is not a physical secure, but you need to remember, if it is virtual, there is a chances that some people can do the jamming of the network, that is the wireless network from antenna to RAN. So always there is some.
There's always a way.
There's a way. That's why I'm saying that we cannot secure 100%, but as you are saying, it is more secure than physical, available on 7 feet, any microcell in the building, and somebody can do. So
yeah.
But physical security is there, but now IP based networks are there. So people are persistent, and insider threat. For example, somebody insider can give me the address of service gateway, for example, and somebody can do denial of service, and also roaming. Maybe when we have the roaming with the different countries, and from a roaming partner, we can expect there may be some sort of denial of service attack can be possible.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's and I guess that, as you say, the analytics are important, because you need to understand what's typical of your network so that you can spot any irregularity and act on it before the network goes down.
Yeah.
With a denial of service attack or anything like that.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would like to thank you so much for your insight. It's been very, very useful, and security is something that it's. I'm sure it's on the mind of all the service providers, and so it's great to be able to talk about it because there is so much at stake here.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. But I think we must think about security because now paradigm shifts. Now things are more IP based, more virtual, more cloud. So we need to come up with a more proactive approach.
Yeah.
Reactive
You
approach.
want to be open, but then we have to be ready for that.
That is correct.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well,